Okay, so hello students. So in today's lecture, we'll solve some numericals of classical mechanics as well as solid state physics, and these are very important for your competitive examination point of view. Fine. So let's start with the numericals. Fine. So first question you see on the screen that if Fermi energy of a silver at 0 Kelvin is 5 electron volt. Fine. Then we have to find out the mean free energy of electron at 0 Kelvin. Fermi energy is given to us and we have to find out the mean free energy, or I can say the average energy. Now in these kind of questions, you have to directly remember the relations between Fermi energy and average energy. So what is the average energy relation when Fermi energy is given to us? So this you already know that average energy is nothing but 3 by 5 epsilon f, where epsilon f is the Fermi energy, and this is in 3D case. Remember, this is in 3D case. Now what about in 2D and 1D? तो आप डायरेक्ट ये भी याद रख लीजिए 2D में क्या होगा. This is very simple, 1 by 2 epsilon f. This is in 2D, and similarly this is 1 by 3 EF in 1D. These are the relation between average energy and Fermi energy for electrons in 1D, 2D and 3D. Fine. Now since nothing is given to us, 1D, 2D, 3D कुछ नहीं दिया हुआ है, तो हमें 3D consider करके चलने पड़े. So we'll use this equation. So this 3 by 5 as it is and multiply by 5 electron volt. 5 electron volt. This and this you can cancel. So your answer is 3 electron volt. This one is the answer. So you see, if you know the formula, then this is very straightforward question. Otherwise it will take so much time to derive this formula first, and that is very hectic. You cannot do that thing in examination. So for examination purpose, just directly remember all these formulas. Fine. Okay, let's see the next question. Again, this is again very interesting question. So the question is, the Hall coefficient RH of a substance related to the mobility mu of a charge carrier where sigma is the conductivity. So what we have to do, we have to find out the relation between mobility and Hall coefficient where sigma is the conductivity. कैसे करें? Again, if you know the formula directly, then you can easily derive this one. How? So you remember the Hall voltage formula? मैं देखो Hall voltage भी लिख देता हूँ आपके लिए. The Hall voltage is 1 by NE IB by W, where this 1 by NE is nothing but the Hall coefficient RH. I is the current, B is the magnetic field, and W is the width or length, whatever you can call it. Fine. So from this equation we know that RH, that is Hall coefficient, is nothing but 1 by NE. This is one thing. And you know this relation. What is sigma? This you know, sigma is NE mu. So from this equation I can say that mu is nothing but sigma by NE. And what is 1 by NE? That is nothing but RH. So can I say that mu is nothing but RH into sigma? RH into sigma. This one, B is the answer. So again, it's a very straightforward question, but the thing is, you have to remember the formula directly. What is RH? ठीक है, इस क्वेश्चन में ये फॉर्मूला भी आपको डायरेक्ट याद रखना है. Sometimes they will ask the whole voltage as well. Current दे देगा, magnetic field दे देगा, width दे देगा, and they will ask about the whole voltage. Or sometimes they will give you the whole voltage. They may ask about the RH, or they may ask about the N. Any kind of variation they do. Fine. So just remember the formulas. Okay, let's see the next question. This is very simple and straightforward question. That according to the band theory of solid, the limit of first Brillouin zone. What is the limit of first Brillouin zone? So it's very simple question. You know, according to the band theory, our band is like this. Fine. These are our bands. This is minus pi by a to pi by a. This is K. This is energy. This is EK diagram, right? And then again it will go like this. It will go like this. Somewhere here it is minus 2 pi by a. Somewhere it is 2 pi by a. So this one is the first Brillouin zone. This region is the first Brillouin zone. If they ask you what is the first Brillouin zone, then this region is the first Brillouin zone. Remember. And if they ask you the second Brillouin zone, then remember this one plus this one. This plus this is the second Brillouin zone. Fine. And always remember the length, area और वॉल्यूम ऑफ ऑल द ब्रिलियन जोन्स आर सेम ऑलवेज. आप देखिए यहाँ इसकी लेंथ कितनी है, फ्रॉम दिस पॉइंट टू दिस पॉइंट, दिस इज 2 pi by a. So length of first Brillouin zone is 2 pi by a. Similarly, what is the length of second Brillouin zone? Pi by a plus pi by a. So that is also again 2 pi by a. So this is 1D case. 2D में क्या होगा, एरिया हो जाएगा, 3D में वॉल्यूम होगा. So length, area and volume of first Brillouin zone is equals to second Brillouin zone is equals to third Brillouin zone. Just remember this also. Fine. Okay. Let's see the next question. Yeah, this is again very simple and straightforward, but I'll give you the some concept behind this and some direct formulas. Specific heat of solid at lower temperature varies. So for solids, we already know that specific heat Cv is proportional to T cube. But this is just one case. They may ask about some other things also. And this is valid in 3D. Remember, this is in 3D. Sometimes they may ask in 2D. Sometimes they may ask in 1D. Sometimes they may ask for other things also. Because look at solid. When we are talking about the solid, that means we are talking about the phonons. They may ask about electrons as well. They may ask about something else. Then what you will do? So very simple. For any kind of system, if you know this relation, let's suppose omega is some constant a k to the power s. Let's suppose this is the relation between omega and k, right? So for this one, what is the energy? Energy is always proportional to this is the energy, right? Okay, energy is always proportional to K. Okay, temperature. So energy is T to the power D by S plus 1. This is the energy. And specific heat we already know, that is nothing but dE by dt. So this is proportional to T to the power D by S. Just remember this formula, where D is the dimension and S is this. This is the S. Now you can prove this formula for this particular case. So these are the phonons. For phonons, what is the relation? Omega is equals to Vsk. That means from here I can say S is equals to 1 k to the power. And let's suppose 3-dimension case, I can say D is equals to 3. Just put in this equation. Cv is proportional to T to the power 3 by 1 T cube. Very simple. अगर 2D में पूछा होता तो हम 2 कर देते, T स्क्वायर हो जाता. 1D के लिए T हो जाता. Right? Sometimes they may ask with some other things also कि आपको क्या दे देगा, कोई भी dispersion relation दे देगा. Let's suppose instead of this dispersion relation they will give you some omega is let's suppose k to the power 2. उसके लिए निकाल के दिखाओ. कैसे करेंगे? So just always use these two things. And sometimes they may ask about energy as well. Instead of a specific heat, they will ask the dependency of energy on temperature. Fine? Okay then. Let's see the next question. Okay, this is also a simple question. For a perfect free electron gas in a metal, the magnitude of phase velocity and group velocity are such that. So what we have to do, we have to find out the relation between phase velocity and group velocity for a free electron. So देखिए क्या करेंगे हम. One thing we know, what is group velocity Vg? d omega by dk. And what is phase velocity Vp? Omega by k. This we already know. Now how to find out the relation? You see what is given to us, free electron gas. So for free electron we know what is energy, E, h cut square k square by 2m. This is energy. But हमें यहाँ relation किस में चाहिए, omega versus k में. So what can I do? I can also put it equals to h cut omega. Energy is always h cut omega or h nu. So from this equation, what is omega? From this equation I can say h cut k square by 2m. This is omega. So what is d omega by dk? From this relation, can I say this is h cut k by m? And what is omega by k? You can put the omega here. So this is simply h cut k by 2m. Now you see this term h cut k by m. This is the same thing. So can I say that Vp is nothing but Vg by 2? Vp is nothing but Vg by 2. So which one is the correct answer? B is the correct answer. Fine. This is how you can do. So always remember the formula of group velocity and phase velocity. Okay. Let's see the next one. The Hamiltonian corresponding to this Lagrangian. So what is given to us? We have a Lagrangian L that is given to us, and we have to find out the Hamiltonian from this Lagrangian. Very simple and straightforward question. ऐसे क्वेश्चन हमेशा एग्जाम में आते हैं, एक न एक क्वेश्चन हमेशा आपको मिले. So what we have to do? We know the relation between Hamiltonian and Lagrangian. We know that Hamiltonian is always Q dot P minus L with the summation sign. Now in this case we have only one dimension, right? X. So can I say this is nothing but x dot P minus L? Now you know L is the function of Q, P and T always, and H is the function of, sorry, this is Q, V and T, and this is Q, P and T. ठीक है? That means this is velocity. V is nothing but x dot in our case. So if we want to convert a Lagrangian into the Hamiltonian, what we have to remove? We have to remove this x dot somehow. We have to convert this x dot into the P. कैसे करें? Let's suppose this is equation 1. So we know this formula, that generalized momentum P is nothing but del x by del x dot. Just do this thing from this equation. This will x dot, second term will give you 0, third term is minus, this is alpha x cube, right? Third term is also 0, fourth term you will see. So this is nothing but beta b, 2 beta b with plus sign as well, 2 beta b x dot. So can I say that x dot I can take common? This is 1 plus 2 beta b x. Fine. This is x dot. So what is x dot from here? I can say this is P over 1 plus 2 beta b x. This is the x dot. So I can put the x dot in equation 1. Just put in equation 1. So the Hamiltonian becomes now x dot P. So this x dot will put here. So this will give you P into P, P square. p square divided by 1 plus 2 beta b x. Then I can put this term first. Let's put this term first because this also has x dot square. So this has this minus wait, okay, this is minus, okay fine, this is minus, and this is beta bx, and then x dot square is nothing but p square divided by 1 plus, okay, sorry, I made a mistake. Before this we'll put one another term, just wait. Just here, first we have pressed, so we have written this term, right? We have written this term. Now we'll write down the Lagrangian. So Lagrangian is this whole term is the Lagrangian. So before this term we have to write down this term as well. So this is minus x dot square. So this is p square divided by 1 plus 2 beta bx, right? And 2 as well. Now we'll write down this term. So this is minus beta bx p square divided by 1 plus 2 beta bx, and then we can write down this term as it is. So this is plus half omega square x square plus alpha x cube. Now this Hamiltonian is this minus this, you can say this is p square by 2 1 plus 2 beta xb, and then minus beta bx p square by 1 plus 2 beta bx plus half omega square x square, sorry, plus alpha x cube. This is the Hamiltonian. Fine. Now you see which one is the best answer, क्योंकि ये term इसमें given नहीं है, ध्यान रखिए, this term is not given in the answer. So I can say that the best answer is this one. B is the best answer. Somehow they have missed this term. Okay. So the important thing is whenever you are converting from Lagrangian to Hamiltonian or Hamiltonian to Lagrangian, so what you have to do, जब भी आपको Hamiltonian में convert करना हो तो आप याद रखिए कि x dot की term को हटाना है, x dot और q dot. And when you are converting from Hamiltonian to Lagrangian, then you have to remove the momentum p. Fine. Okay, then let's see the next question. So the question is, if p and q are the position and momentum variables, which one of the following is not canonical transformation? What we have to do, we have to show which one is not canonical transformation. So what is the condition for canonical transformation? We know qp must be equals to 1 on the basis of small q small p. That means I can say, what is this qp? This is nothing but Poisson bracket curly q by curly small q into curly p by curly small p minus sign, this is small p, and then switch it, curly q by curly p into curly p by curly small q. This we have to find out. ठीक है, अगर ये 1 है then it is canonical, if it is not 1 then it is not canonical. So we have to check all the options one by one. Let's check the first option. Check the first option. What is given to us? Q is this. So what is curly q by curly q? First term. So this is simply alpha curly p by curly p. curly p by curly p, this is simply 1 by alpha minus q by p. so q में देखिए कोई p की टर्म नहीं है, so this is 0. Similarly p by q, there is no q terms, this is also 0. so this is give you 1. that means this is canonical. This one is canonical, so this is not the correct answer. Check the second one. Fine. B को check करिए, देखिए. Again you can do the same thing. So since I already done this one, so you see, you will find out that this is also not the canonical transformation. So you will get the 1 in this case as well. Fine. Now let's check this third one. C. Curly q by curly q, so this is 0. Curly p by curly p, this is 0, कोई टर्म ही नहीं है. Minus curly q by curly p, curly q by curly p, so this is 1, and curly p by curly q, this is 1. so this gives you -1. this gives you -1. and similarly if you do the d, because एक प्लस माइनस का ही साइन है, तो this difference है, तो this is give you 1. so this is 1, this is 1, this is 1. only this one is not equals to 1. so I can say that this is the correct answer, not canonical. The important thing is these kind of questions are very important on canonical transformation. यहाँ तो उन्होंने डायरेक्ट गिवन क्वेश्चन दिया है. समटाइम्स व्हाट दे विल गिव यू सम values, some constant values, and they will ask you that find out the value of this. Let's suppose they will give you some q is equals to q to the power alpha and p is equals to, let's suppose, q small p to the power beta. I'm just giving some example, and they are saying if it is a canonical, that means qp is equals to, then find out the value of alpha and find out the value of beta. They will ask you this kind of questions as well. Then you have to satisfy this equation, and then you can easily find out कि अल्फा और बीटा की क्या वैल्यू रखें कि हमें 1 मिल जाए. तो इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस भी एग्जाम में आते हैं. फाइन. ओके, सो लेट्स सी द नेक्स्ट वन. Okay, so this question is very simple and straightforward question. A hoop is pivoted at a point on a circumference. The period of small oscillation in the plane of flow. तो क्या क्वेश्चन है, आपको एक हुप दिया हुआ है इस तरह से. This is a hoop and this is oscillating like this. This is oscillating like this with some angle theta. Okay, this is oscillating like this. ठीक है. Then you have to find out the t. So for these kind of questions, I'll suggest you, see, you cannot drive the everything for these kind of questions. So what you can do, just directly remember the formula, how to find out the t. So this formula is simply 2 pi under root I by mgr. Just remember this formula directly. It's very important formula to find out the time period of a small oscillation, where I is the moment of inertia. Remember, this I is the moment of inertia. क्यों हम I यूज कर रहे हैं, आप यू भी कह सकते हो कि यहाँ m यूज क्यों नहीं कर रहे, बिकॉज दिस इज ए हूप, दिस इज नॉट ए पॉइंट मास, this is not a point mass, this is the hoop, so it has a mass is distributed all over this hoop. That means we need to use the moment of inertia, and for this case the moment of inertia is simply 2mr square. मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया होप, ये भी आपको डायरेक्ट याद होना चाहिए. आई कैन नॉट डू एनीथिंग, आपको ऐसे क्वेश्चंस में डायरेक्ट याद ही रखना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज यू विल नॉट एबल टू सॉल्व दिस काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. ठीक है. देन यू कैन पुट दिस हियर. सो टी इज नथिंग बट 2 पाई अंडर रूट 2mr स्क्वायर डिवाइडेड बाई mgr. this r and this r you can cancel, this m and m you can cancel. This is 2 pi under root, so this is 2r by g. Now you can see which one is the best answer. This one is matching, A is matching. Okay, so just remember this formula directly to find out the time period of a small oscillation. Fine. If a rigid body is given to you, this is only for the rigid body. Okay, so this question, let's see, the mass m of a moving particle is this. Okay, so what is given to us? There is a particle of rest mass m naught. Remember, m naught is the rest mass and it is moving. And if it is moving, then its mass is 2m naught by under root 3. What is the meaning of this? This means this is its relativistic mass. Rest mass m naught, and if it is in motion, then relativistic mass is given to us. Find out the linear momentum of particle. So what we have to find out? Linear momentum P. कैसे करें? We know the formula of linear momentum. P is nothing but m into v, where this m is a relativistic mass. Remember, this m is the relativistic mass. This we have to use. ना तो हमारे पास m is given to us, but v is not given to us. So what we can do? Very simple. Let's try to find out v. We know this formula. Relativistic mass m is m naught over under root 1 minus v square by c square. This formula we already know. And this mass is given to us 2m naught by root 3. So you can cancel m naught with m naught. Further, what can I do? I can do the square from both sides और उसको change कर देता हूँ. So this is 1 minus v square by c square is nothing but 3 by 4. So this will give you v square by c square is equals to 1 minus 3 by 4, which is nothing but 1 by 4. So from here I can say that velocity v is nothing but c by 2. This is the velocity. Fine. Now you can put in this formula that momentum p is nothing but m is already given to us 2m naught by root 3 into c by 2. This 2 and 2 you can cancel. So this is m naught c by root 3. This is the answer. This one, m naught c by root 3. Important is that most of the students made a mistake in this question, that when you are doing this thing, आप v भी निकाल लोगे, but when you are doing this thing, then you will see, you will directly put the rest mass m naught v, and then you will get m naught c by 2. So don't make this mistake. Sometimes होता है, आपको याद नहीं रहेगा, आप डायरेक्ट m naught put कर दोगे यहाँ पे. So don't make this mistake. Since it is a relativistic case, right? So you have to use the relativistic momentum. Fine. Okay then, so this is all about for today's class. So in the next class we will discuss more numericals based on these things. Fine. Okay then, see you in the next class.